this for my teacher. Okay, it's recording. So I'm just gonna ask you a couple questions before we get started, just so I can get to know you better. So these are would you rather questions. Have you ever played Would You Rather before?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather play in the rain or the snow?
The rain.
The rain, I agree, me too. Would you rather go to a lake or a water park?
Like
Good choice. Would you rather swim in Jell-O or peanut butter?
Jello.
Jell-O. I would too. Would you rather fly a kite or swing on a swing?
Fly a kite.
Would you rather be good at drawing or singing?
Drawing.
Would you rather do schoolwork by yourself or with a partner?
By myself.
I am the same way. Would you rather be able to see super far away or be able to see super close up?
Far away.
Far away. And would you rather be able to type fast on a computer or read fast?
Read fast.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions now about what your favorite things are. So what is your favorite subject in school?
Art.
Oh, why is that?
I like to draw and like make stuff.
Yeah, I liked art too. What is your favorite season?
Fall.
I like fall too. I'm really liking it right now. The leaves are starting to change colors. What is your favorite sport?
Football.
Football. Do you play football or do you just like watching?
I just watch it.
You watch it? I don't know if you know, but my aunt is related to your uncle, I think. So I heard that your brother signed to play football in Minnesota.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you like watching him play football?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty good, isn't he?
Mhm.
Okay, so now that I know you a little bit better, we can go ahead and start. So, are you familiar with the term slavery?
I don't really hear that a lot, but I kind of know what it means. But
You know what it means?
Mhm.
Okay. So, to start, we're going to watch a little video over slavery. Let me share my screen. I'm going to have to take my headphones out. Oh, we don't want that. There we go. Okay. Take this out. Okay. Now we can go ahead and watch this. Tell me if you can hear it, okay?
I know it. That's why we're not all real unhappy that thing came down. Sarah. What are we gonna have this?
I'm teaching a lesson right now.
Slavery in America from Dwight. Unfortunately, slavery's history goes back to
it's really staticky.
Is it?
Mhm.
Let me see. Let me stop sharing my screen. Okay. Let's try this
We'll watch
again.
this.
Tell me if you can hear it better now.
Enslaved thousands of years ago in places like Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. Even the ancient Greeks, the inventors of democracy, used enslaved people as household servants. But in the Americas, slavery was particularly brutal. Spanish and Portuguese conquistadors enslaved the native people who lived in Mexico and South America. Oh, conquistador means conqueror in Spanish. Spanish colonists in North America enslaved native people there, too. In the British colonies on the East Coast, they quickly shifted to enslaving people from Africa. Beginning in the early 1600s, Africans were used for household help and farm work in North America. And the southern colonies built their whole economy around a slave workforce. They labored growing cotton, indigo, and sugar on large farms called plantations, while northern colonies became more industrial, so they needed far fewer workers. By the end of the 18th century, the African slave trade had stolen millions of people and shipped them to North America. The slave trade was a big international business. In Africa, people were kidnapped and traded to merchants in exchange for European goods. They were then sent to the Americas, where they were forced to work on plantations. The crops they grew were sent back to Europe, where they were sold and manufactured into goods. The system was called the triangular trade, and the leg between Africa and the Americas is known as the Middle Passage. The people were chained together and packed like livestock into cargo holds. They often couldn't move at all, not even to go to the bathroom. Many got sick and died. Others tried to starve themselves or jump overboard to escape. Over 15% of the captives perished while on board. For those who survived, the excruciating journey took months. The first stop was the West Indies, islands in the Caribbean. Some enslaved people were kept there as plantation workers. Others were sent to America, where they were sold at auctions. Families were broken and sold to different planters. Well, back then many Americans thought that Africans were inferior people. They were judged because their skin was a different color and because they weren't Christians. Greed was a factor too. Free labor made a lot of people very rich. Enslaved workers had no rights at all. Plantation owners could make them work all day without rest, beat them, and even kill them. It's all legal. You said it. But eventually, things did begin to change. In 1808, bringing slaves over from Africa was outlawed. Of course, there were millions of Africans here already, and laws had been passed to make slavery hereditary. That meant any children of enslaved people were enslaved too. So the system actually expanded as generations of children were born into slavery. By the 1850s, most northern states had outlawed the practice. In 1860, the U.S. fought a civil war over slavery, which brought it to an end. During the war, Abraham Lincoln delivered the Emancipation Proclamation. He declared that all enslaved people in Confederate states were now free. The 13th Amendment of the Constitution officially outlawed slavery in 1865. The effects of slavery didn't end overnight. African Americans were treated as second-class citizens for the next 100 years. The civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s made huge strides toward righting those injustices. Since then, we've made a lot of progress, though we still have a way to go. It's up to all of us to work toward a society that treats people fairly, no matter our race or background. We're all just people, you know? You're people too, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing that. So after watching that video, what are some words that remind you or make you think of slavery?
Okay. Like, African American, because usually those were the people who got saved. Or
Uh-huh.
set in slavery.
Yep, you're totally right. Do you think that it was a good thing or a bad thing?
A bad thing.
I would agree. So to go with that, we're going to we're going to watch a book called The Listener, and it is about a little girl and her family who were slaves on a cotton field. So I'm going to share my screen again. Let me know if the volume gets funky again. I think it shouldn't now that I shared my audio with you. Oh, it's not. Sorry. Okay.
The Listener by Gloria Wheeler. Author's note. It's still dark in the morning when the boss blows on the bugle. We're out of bed. My friends, Bobby and Sue, are too little to pick cotton like I do. Bobby drives the cows out to pasture. Sue helps the grannies care for the babies. We come home tired. We come home hungry, but Bobby, Sue, and me, Ella May, got more work to do after supper. We got to listen. Sweet potatoes in our bellies, molasses still sweet on our mouths, we are on our way. Master and mistress at the great house don't tell us slaves nothing. We children listen and carry back the news to our folk. The fireflies turn on and off. Bobby, Sue, and me, Ella May, hunch down in the bushes next to the great house. Listening is a job for us children. We make ourselves small as cotton seeds and quiet as shadows. The breezes puff the curtains out the open windows. Sandflies bite us and mosquitoes stick pins in us, but we don't slap at them. We're here to listen. Master Thomas and Mistress Louise and their children, little Master John and little Mistress Grace, are taking their leisure. Mistress Grace is playing on the piano. The music talks and talks to us and never has to say a word. We hold hands tight for fear the music's going to carry us right away. Master Thomas tells the mistress we slaves gonna get us a new overseer to boss us. I got a smile big as an alligator's on my face. I hate the old boss. If you don't pick the cotton fast enough, he comes by with his nasty cane and flicks it at you. Bobby, Sue, and me, Ella May, hurry home fast as foxes to tell the news. Our mammies clap hands and dance around. My daddy says, I'm not clapping my hands till I see the new man. John and me start our work at the same time. I pick with Mammy and Daddy. The little prickers on the cotton plants bite at my fingers. We work hard in the cool of the morning. Daddy once picked 400 pounds of cotton in one day. Nobody picks faster than my daddy does. It's noon and time to eat. There's a big wooden trough for us kids and clamshells for spoons. We got salt pork and corn dumplings and a mess of black-eyed peas looking up at us. We eat and eat until our bellies are fat as possums. In the afternoon, the sun melts me so I can hardly pick. Daddy sees my basket is nearly empty and he puts in some of his cotton. He doesn't want the boss to flick me with his nasty cane. That night, up at the great house, we listen and hear Master Thomas say, had an offer from the Spencers to buy Willie. They're short of men. William, that's my daddy. My heart's a flock of scared birds flying every which way. I listen and listen. I don't believe I can spare him, Master Thomas says. He's one of our best pickers and handy with machines. I'm thinking of teaching him how to keep the cotton gin in good repair. I let out my breath and put my arms around Sue. Her daddy got sold away last year and she hasn't seen him since. When I get home, I hug my daddy hard and tell him the good news. It's Saturday night. Mammy washes our clothes and Year rubs the skin off us, scrubbing us shiny clean for church. We sit in the gallery. White folks sit below us in the church. When we sing Amazing Grace, white folks and slaves sing together. In the afternoon, we go into the woods. Our church has a blue sky for the ceiling and green grass for the floor. We've got our own preacher. He tells the story of Moses who freed the people of Israel. The good Lord's going to free us, he promises. The Jubilee is coming. We sing All God's Children Got Wings and Stand Still, Jordan. We sing louder than the white folks to be sure the good Lord hears us. I hope he's listening. We're listening when the boss tells Master Thomas a plow and some horses would get the work done faster than the hoe. That sounds good to us because the hoe is hard work. The master says he's not buying any plow. Slaves, he says, are cheaper than horses. Tonight, every candle in the great house is lit. It looks like they hung up the sun right inside the parlor. There's a party going on. Fiddles throw music out the windows. Bobby, Sue, and me, Ella May, dance on the grass. We dance and dance until our feet are damp with dew, and the whippoorwill says it's time to go home. Hallelujah, the last of the cotton is picked. I get to help Daddy be a jumper today. They hang a big bag of cotton up and we climb right in. We jump and jump on the cotton. I dance the turkey trot and the Mary Jane. First, the cotton is soft on my toes, but when we're finished dancing, that bale is hard packed. That same night when we listen, we hear Mistress Squeeze ask, "Why don't I start a little school for the slave children?" Master Thomas says, "What can you be thinking, my dear? It's the law to educate slaves." The lady who teaches Mistress Grace has set her a poem to learn. She says it over and over for her mama. "And I will make thee beds of roses and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle embroidered with all the leaves of myrtle." I know roses and I know myrtle bushes, but I sure don't know what a kirtle is, and neither do Bobby and Sue. I say the poem all the way home, and now it's my poem. When I go to sleep, I pretend my scratchy straw mattress is a bed of roses. Cold weather is coming, so winter clothes get handed out. Bobby's got a shirt. Sue and me got a flannel dress and drawers. No new shoes. My toes won't like that. Master Thomas is spied walking around in his uniform, brass buttons, sword and all. Daddy tells me, "Ella May, you and Bobby and Sue need to listen extra hard tonight. I got a feeling dangerous times are coming. Could be our lives going to depend on what you children hear." Master Thomas is angry. His words come out mean as rattlesnakes. "I can't believe Abraham Lincoln has been elected president," Master says. "Lincoln is a madman. He says slavery is wrong. He says slavery must end." Bobby, Sue, and me, Ella May, run fast. Our mammies and daddies gather around us. This time, they do the listening. We tell them, we got us a new president, Abraham Lincoln. Daddy says, "Moses is come. We're going to be free like the children of Israel. It's the Jubilee for sure." I ask Daddy, "Is our listening over?" Daddy says, "We see the road, but we don't see all the way to where the ending is. We got to know how long is that road and how we get down it. Bobby, Sue, and you, Ella May, your listening is just begun."
Okay, so that was the story. I'm going to go ahead and for this lesson, we were supposed to use technology. So I was going to have you create a Google Slides, but I'm not sure you would know how to do that while being on Zoom. So I already made one you can just tell me what you think and I'll just type it for you, since I don't want you to accidentally exit out and close it. Okay, so to start, when we create a PowerPoint, you want to click the title and you would add your name. So could you tell me what your full name is and I'll add it for you.
Finley Rosalie Judge.
What's your last name?
Judge.
Perfect. Okay, so the first 3 slides are about characteristics. So, and character traits of the main character. And character traits are describing words that explain who a person is and their personality. So a character trait isn't going to describe the way they look. So if I were to think about my mom, I would describe her character traits as hardworking and being kind to others. How would you describe your mom?
Hardworking and loving.
Good. That is a good one. So I'm going to pull up just some character trait examples because we're going to fill this out for the little girl in the story. So how would you describe the characters in the story using character traits?
I'd say they're really hardworking.
That is, oh, I put caps. Hard. Okay. How else would you describe them?
Um, generous. Well, like kind, because they would always listen and tell them what.
Mm-hmm. And with the listening, another good character trait could have something to do with listening. What would you say they are for listening? Would you say they're bad listeners?
I'd say they're good listeners and they're really quiet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we finished that. We're gonna talk about motivation. So motivation is something that pushes us. So something that motivates me is my parents getting good grades. So what do you think motivated the main character to do her work on the field?
I'd say by her dad.
Yep, that's a good one. Okay, and one more. I don't know if you remember, but
By the new president.
yeah, good job. Okay, and the last two are feelings. So how do you think the character felt at the beginning of the story?
Mom tell you? No, you better. I think they felt tired.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. And how do you think they felt at the end of the story when they found out that Abraham Lincoln was going to be president?
Excited.
Okay, good. So now for these, it says add pictures. We'll do 3. I'll look up whatever you want me to on here and I'll just add it. So what would be a good picture for saying the characters are hardworking? What would you look up on Google to find a picture?
Maybe like a farmer, because they have to like they grow the plants. They have to feed their animals. They do lots of stuff.
I would agree. A little big. Nope, and I'm moving it around. Okay, the next one is the characters are kind. What would I look up for that? Or what would you look up?
Maybe like like Mom. Maybe like if you can't like reach something or something, I would look up like someone helping another person.
Good. Okay. And then we'll go down to we'll do this feeling one. Okay, so the character feels tired at the beginning of the story. What would you look up for a picture?
I would look up like an animal hibernating.
Okay, we might do a couple more, sorry. Okay, so if we said the character is motivated by her dad, what picture would you look up?
Like maybe like a picture of someone and their dad, and like the younger one is like looking up at their dad they're they're like because they would be like motivated by them, so it would be like I want to be just like them or something.
That is good. That is a good answer. I'm trying to find one where they're looking up. We might have to stick with this one and them looking at each other. Okay. Okay. And what would you look for someone feeling excited?
Like maybe someone like jumping up and down or something.
Okay, we'll just do all of them. I'm sorry. Okay, so what would you look up for someone who's a good listener and quiet?
Maybe like a picture of a teacher that's teaching, and then the students are quiet and they're listening.
Okay, and finally, the last one is the character is motivated by the new president, who's Abraham Lincoln. What would you look up?
Maybe like a picture of him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is it. And today we listened to the book, The Listener, and we talked about the characters in the story and what character traits she demonstrated and her motivations. So I would have you talk about the slides that you created with a partner, but you don't have a partner, and we already talked about it. So that's pretty much all that I have for you. And I'll be in contact with your mom because I will probably be doing, I think I only have 2 more of these that I'll need from you. And the next one we're going to do is a reader's theater. So it's kind of like a play. So me and you might have to do a little play together, if that's okay with you.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And you did a really, really good job answering all those questions and picking out those pictures. I'm really impressed.
Thanks.
Yep, no problem. How is school going for you? Are you in school every day or are you?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. See, my sister, she's at the high school, so she goes like 2 days a week. And I work at a preschool and we have kids that only come 2 days a week. So I didn't know what you were. Is it going okay?
Yeah.
Good. That is good. And what school are you at?
Franklin.
Franklin. Good school. Okay, well, that was all I needed, and it was nice to see you, and I hope I can see you again soon, okay?
Okay.